Hey people. Hi. Welcome. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Hi Instagram. Hello TikTok. Welcome, welcome. Hi people. Hello. Oh, hi people. Forgot to turn the sound on there. I don't know if it's working. Hi people. Welcome. Hi, YouTube. Hello, Facebook. Let me know if you can hear me. Hello, TikTok. Happy Thursday. Hi, Instagram. Let me move my camera. All right. Here we go. Good to go. Today, I'll probably use the regular tarot. Today, I'll probably do the regular tarot. Hi, Senegal. I remember your name here yesterday. Yang ma doon wax pour ma làkk olof. Danga bëggoon a xam ndax dégg naa olof. Hi, Kifra. Welcome. Hi, Facebook. Can you hear me? Can you hear the sound? Facebook, please let me know in the chat if you can hear the sound. I forgot to use my headphones, and if you can't hear it, Facebook, can you hear me? Hi, YouTube. Hotep Kefra, Hi, welcome. Today I'll be doing the regular tarot. I'll be reading from the regular tarot. I love this deck. It's so smooth and it's a very powerful deck. All right, that's the one I will be using. Welcome, everybody. But before I start, I wanted to talk about something. If I teach people, I am an amazing teacher. Thank you. I don't think I'm teaching. Some people see it as teaching. For me, I don't know. I don't see it as teaching, but I see it as sharing what I have learned, sharing my journey. And then people decide if it feels like a teaching for them or what it is. Hello, what's the name again? Is your name Alex? Was it Isaac? Hi, Isaac. Football lover. Welcome. And you are what? An Arsenal fan, right? Was it Arsenal or Chelsea? Which one is it? Hi, YouTube. Welcome. Okay, so today I will be getting a card from the regular tarot. The tarot guide. Hi, Jason. You're studying English by listening to me? I don't know. I'm doing wonderful, Isaac. I'm doing great. Today I'm wearing one of my favorite outfits. It's from a Harlem designer. Barcelona. All right. It's from a Harlem designer and it's called a Triple T. One of my favorite. He used 3 t-shirts and put them into one. We did a photo shoot together, and this outfit is so comfy. It's one of those fashion clothes that I never let go of. All right, so I wanted to start by talking about something that came to light this morning. It happened this morning. Hello, Maisha. Welcome. It came to light this morning. Um, so I am part of networks for Great Day, Maisha, Great Day, Beautiful. So I'm part of certain networks, different from the ones that I talk about, that are predominantly African business owners and African vendors. And it's mostly on Instagram, right? So one of them, um, I was talking to him and he said that when he got my invite to join my accountability group, which I call the Oracles Place, he was scared. He was scared. And the reason that he was scared is because the name of my group is Oracles Place. Now, this person is African, born and raised in Africa, currently in Ghana, in Accra, Ghana. And the reason he was scared was that the first thing that came to his mind was who was after his life. Just by seeing the invite that I sent him to join my accountability group, right? Oracles Place. So the first thought that came to his mind was who was after his life. So I told him the reason you felt like that is because we have been programmed and we've been taught to be scared of our culture, to be scared of ourselves, to be scared of who we are. Because the name Oracle and Oracle's Place, not just in African culture and African societies, but in the movie The Matrix, which I always talk about, right? Gloria Foster's character is the Oracle, and her home is called what? The Oracle's Place. And yesterday we talked about this. Yesterday the live was about 3 hours plus. And we were asking ourselves questions and reflecting and talking about the way that we were raised and the things that we were told, right? And the ideas that we have about our culture, about who we are as Africans. Because many a time we think or we've been raised to believe that if you are not Christian or you are not Muslim, then you are a pagan. And this guy, this morning, this African man in the African continent, in Accra, Ghana, said, but how can you raise awareness about this issue? Because it has so much criticism and people don't believe in it, and just went on talking. But then eventually what happened was he started explaining and talking about his experiences in life and how he was raised and the things that he was told. So I told him, this is how I raise awareness about this issue. I don't see myself as someone who will do spiritual work for you, right? Like we say in the Gambia or in Africa, the marabouts or the serines and all those stuff that they do. I don't do that. I wish I could. It's something I've always loved as a child, but could not learn it because it's considered witchcraft. So this guy thought I was doing witchcraft, and I told him everything in life is witchcraft. What I do is put together African history and African psychology. And to me, African history and African psychology, in the way that I learned it, is also Black history, Black psychology, Caribbean history, Caribbean psychology. Because the moment you dig in the history of the people that look like us all over the world, then you are going to touch Brazil, you're going to touch Latin America, um, South America, wherever it is. You're going to touch Haiti, right? You're going to touch all these places because African people are everywhere. But we have been divided in a way that we think we are different. We think that if you're born in Africa, you're different from the person. Kumba, thank you, Kumba. I am tired of responding to that, right? So I just don't respond to where are you from anymore. But thank you to the Gambians in the chats who are always ready to answer the questions for me. And I truly appreciate that. Thank you, Kumba. My favorite grandmother, her name is Kumanjai. Like I was saying, right? Many of us have been raised to believe that we are different. If you're born in Africa, you're different from the black person or the dark skinned person, the melanated person who is from Brazil, who is from America, who is from Haiti, who is from the Caribbean. That is what is called the divide and conquer. And that is still happening. Because most of the wars, in my own opinion and my own belief, that are still happening in the African continent are based on this issue. You're my cousin, Kumangom. Which Kumangom? I can't see your picture. Send me a message or nga ñëw suma Instagram, but that way I can see your pictures. So fekkee ne yaa ngi Instagram. I am the most beautiful woman because of my black color. Thank you. I absolutely appreciate that. I feel beautiful today because this is my look. I love looking like this. So I feel good. Makes me feel feminine and very calm. So we might have a very calm live today. But like I was saying, right, many of us have been raised to believe that we are different. We're different to the point that I believe, and in my own opinion and in my own experience, right? And just to say that today I'll be reading from the regular tarot. I don't know if it's called the original tarot or whatever, but the wars that are happening in Africa, I believe it is also a manifestation of divide and conquer, where people believe that if you are Igbo or Yoruba or whatever else, you are different from the other. So people fight and kill each other. If you're Christian, you're different from the Muslim. So you fight and they kill each other. If you're Jola, you're different from the Sarahule, from the Fula, from the Wolof, from the Syria. And then our parents would say, what? The Fula or the Jola or the Sarahule or the Syria or whoever it is cannot marry each other. And I'm speaking from my own experience because I have experienced these things. For the people who know me from the Gambia, right? My ex-husband was Mandinka, Sose, right? Speaks Mandinka, sings in Mandinka. And the moment that my own mother knew he was Mandinka, the first thing she said was, why are you not marrying a Wolof? And I'm like, how can I answer that question, right? I don't know. And then later on, just very recently, because I am still in touch with my ex-husband, I got to learn that one of the reasons that our marriage broke down was because my own mother called his mother, and that conversation broke the soul. It sucked the life out of my ex-husband, and it was part of the things that contributed to the breakdown of our marriage. Now, I'm saying all of these things because of the person that I was speaking to today. Because we are afraid of our culture. We are afraid of our heritage. We are afraid of who we are. And so we run away from ourselves, away from our culture, away from our African soil. And we run to so many different places looking for something which we can only find within ourselves or within our African soil. That's where we can find it, right? And whenever I talk about white supremacy, I'm not talking about white people, because a lot of people think that white supremacy is white people who are racist And I have now a different definition of what racist is, right? So it all depends on what you have learned. So I always say study. When I talk about white supremacy, I'm talking about the idea, the ideology of white supremacy. A great person to listen to or whose book to read is Frantz Fanon. Frantz Fanon, he wrote Wretched of the Earth, and he also wrote Black Skin, White Mask, right? So the idea, the ideology of white supremacy can be carried by a Black person, can be carried by an African, can be carried by a white person, can be carried by a Mexican, a Dominican, a Brazilian, can be carried by anybody because it's an idea, it's a way of being, it's a way of life, right? It's the way that we've been raised. It is infused in everything that we do. And I know this is why when I spoke to this guy this morning, who is a African content creator living in Ghana, Accra, he believed that I was a witch or doing witchcraft because the name of my accountability group for people who want to transform their life and change, that name is Oracle's Place. And whenever I go live, I always put what? Oracle's Place. So we need a change. Oh, my longtime crush is texting me. Anyway, right? Let's go. When I saw you yesterday, I knew that you're from Wolof because I am Wolof. Ah, that's wonderful. All right, let's go, right? Let's do the card. I feel like doing the card. No Santa, Fai. Fai la Santa. Yama Fai, wala Mariama Fai. And suma family, ñu ngi jógee Ngor. Suma Senegalese family, ñu ngi jógee Ngor. Séeréer la, yes, séeréer la moom. My favorite all-time musician is Yande Kodu Sen. I feel like Yande Kodu is my personal ancestor. Right, I'm looking for a particular deck spread that I want to do. So let me see. Release and retain. I think I want to do release and retain today. You're a good woman. I hope so. I think today I want to do release and retain, right? And let me read it for you. And I'll do the cards. The first one will be release. What is ready to leave your life or has been taking up too much of your attention and energy? And for the retain, it will be what is necessary to keep for your continual growth, right? So let's do release and retain. I'll use this. My daughter drew this Nutribus for me. She keeps drawing the stuff that I use to shoot my videos. So I'll put that there. And then we will do release and retain. This is still burning, so I'll just use it like that. What needs to be released today, right? And for me personally, I think one of the things that needs to be released is the ideas, the perceptions, and the ways that we have been raised, right? Because even when I come on live, I have a lot of people thinking that I'm doing some kind of crazy stuff. And I think I see myself as someone who is a whole lot more intellectual. And like I was saying yesterday, right? I'm open to attracting anybody who relates to the message. And as you can see, I get that a lot in the chat. But the main group of people that I am focusing on, because this is it has been my goal, right? What is it called? Instagram. Does it look ashy? It looks ashy from my point. Does it look ashy? Maybe I can change and look for a different. Hey Taylor, welcome. I would love to have you more. I would love to have you join me more, Taylor. It will be an honor and a pleasure to have you with us, and we chat and transform and do the work together. I would definitely love for you to be here more. Okay, so of course, yes, ma'am. I was so surprised to see that you have an older child. I thought you were my age. I thought you were my age, right? I always saw you as young as you look young, very young. So when I saw you post that, I'm like, oh, I have to be more respectful. Oh, you were 36. Okay, great. So I'm not okay. So we're just 1 year apart. Okay, so I'm right. I'm right. Because I was like, oh, I need to be more respectful. But we're 1 year apart. Okay, so we can roll together. All right. So release and retain. That's what we are talking about. And the question that we are asking for the two cards is, what is ready to leave your life or has been taking up too much of your attention and energy for release? And then retain, what is necessary to keep for your continual growth. So this will be collective. All right, this will be collective. Okay, one, a release. Two cards. This card, I love this deck. It's so smooth. Smooth and beautiful. Release and retain. Just one more deck. I know for myself, what I need to release is I know this already, is being scared of doing what I'm doing. Like I always say, these are things that I have known how to do. For the cards, it has been around 5 years. For the spiritual work, it has been going deep in the spiritual work, it has been about 10 years. But the things that I talk about, I have known for about my entire life. So one more card for retain. What do we need to retain? I used to, Princess. Princess is asking me if I have imposter syndrome. I used to have imposter syndrome terribly, in a very bad way. We can talk about that later. We had that as a topic a while ago, and I think I made a playlist of it in my Telegram group. Trying to let go of fear. I know that very well. Good morning. Great rising, Fatimata. Welcome, my love. Yes, Princess, I know, and I can talk about that. I also have a playlist of it in my accountability group because we talk about imposter syndrome, anything that has to deal with trauma. And you can find that link in my bio where you are on TikTok. And it says join my Telegram group, and you could just join. And then I'll bring back the playlist that I shared. What do we need to rethink? Give us, well, that's 2 cards. Right? That's 2 cards. But we'll take them. Wow. The first one is judgment. What we need to release. The first card that came is judgment. Just very simply, judgment. You're very welcome in the creative guidance. You're very welcome, Fatimata. I need that too. As I told you, that's my favorite professor, right? Because of him, I had to heal my triggers quick. So release what is ready to leave your life or has been taking up too much of your attention and energy. And the first card is judgment. And I can tell you, Princess, regarding your question of imposter syndrome, judgment. Right? So I'm going to read that first. Let's see the breakdown of judgment.
I'm going to do a handstand.
Okay.
The bedroom, how to do it.
Okay. All right, let's see. Is judgment a major arcana? Judgment is first, let me ask, when you hear judgment, what is the first thing that come to your mind? When you hear judgment, what is the first thing that come to your mind? Angry God. Oh, Shira, that's a good one. Angry parents. All right, all right. That's a good one. Comparing myself to, yes, yes, Princess, comparing myself to others. I am so good at that. No lie. I used to be good at that. And I'm still healing from that. Anybody else? Not so nice to myself, Fatimata. Okay. That's what comes to mind when you hear judgment. Okay, let's see. I don't have my post-it notes here. So judgment. Judgment serves as the ultimate release when we are accepting of the past and of ourselves as we follow the divine call to our spiritual awakening. This might be what you need, Princess. I believe this might be what you need in terms of imposter syndrome. And I think just you asking that question, this is perfect. It's perfect timing, right? Because if one of the things that we need to release is judgment, judgment is very heavy in imposter syndrome, at least when I had that. Hi, sunshine. Power in the release. Power in the release. Wow, yes, that's beautiful. Power in the release. I like that. There's a lot of power in the release, right? Or compassionate to myself. Not being nice to yourself and not being compassionate to yourself. Those are part of imposter syndrome. That's a part of imposter syndrome too. Let me do this. I want to, judgment is 86 here. And I think this is a big one. Okay. So, judgment serves as the ultimate release when we are accepting of the past. Accepting of the past. Shira, that could be what you mentioned, an angry God, right? Because one of the ways that we have been raised to believe about ourselves and divine and God and whatever, whoever you believe in, it has always been an angry God. Love me or I'm going to kill you. Pray or you're going to hell. These are the things that I was told. Accepting the past. And you said when you hear judgment, you're thinking of an angry God. That's what's coming to my mind, right? Hell, heaven, and hell. There's all of that too. Let me see. Okay. Oh, Facebook. I don't know what is happening with it. YouTube. I don't know what's happening with the camera. Right? Yes, exactly. Okay. So the release now for today is accepting that the people that taught us these things, they didn't know what they didn't know. Sometimes it's just subliminals in society, right? You have to be this way, or when you die, you go to hell. You have to talk this way, you have to act this way. We really spoke about that yesterday as well. So, accepting the past for me would be accepting that, but there is more than that limited view of heaven and hell. I mean, yes. So, we're talking about acceptance. Accepting that majority of what we were told as children is what? Limited views, right? It's limited views. Let me take care of this. And I have no idea how to do this. Whoops. Instagram, tell me if it's better. Judgment serves as the ultimate release when we are accepting of the past and ourselves as we follow the divine call, right, to our spiritual awakening. Limited, it's good, right? So the divine call to our spiritual awakening, that is a feeling. That's how I interpret it. That divine call, it's a feeling. And for me, it was most of the things that I enjoyed, most of the people that I liked, most of the ideas that I was raised with. I began to question everything, and I questioned everyone to the point there were so many people I couldn't be around. I couldn't talk to my own mother because I saw what you said, Shira, the idea of an angry God was still the idea that she had. And so I was beginning saying, okay, great, right? So that spiritual awakening. So spiritual awakening to me, it's not really an event, right? Moji talks about it this way, that when you are awakening to yourself, when you're awakening to who you are, it's not an event, right? Because most of us, we're waiting for something to happen. It's going to be, no, don't close that here. Wolf, anga seda. Solal buba.
I need to wear this.
Okay, kon nga dem si néeg bi nga sol, I don't know,
No, still be cold.
long sleeve. Okay, that's the bedroom. I need this one open. Because we are always waiting for something to happen, right? When we are doing the satsangs and he is talking to the people that listen to him, that we think that spiritual awakening, it's going to be this event. Wow, oh my God, look at this. But usually it's very subtle. It's very small. It's seeing that you have outgrown a lot of things. Maybe the way you dress, maybe the way you talk, right? You're coming to that enlightenment. I don't want to use these words because they are overused. It's changing your mind, it's changing your environment, right? To the point where you can look back and say, this is how I used to dress, this is how I used to look. Just today I was looking at my pictures, right? Because I'm creating, bringing back old pictures, combining them with new pictures. We are about to do the challenge, which is the health and wellness challenge. We're about to do that. And I was looking at very, very old pictures about 10 years ago. And it just came to my mind, wow, I was in so much pain and I was crying for help, and there was nobody there to help me, right? Because everybody that surrounded me was crying for help, but they didn't know. So for me today, right before I started, that was an awakening moment. That realization is very sudden. That realization that, wow, I used to be this person before, right? You are ready for the next step in personal growth. You are ready for the next step in personal growth. And that can look like many ways, right? Just Princess asking about imposter syndrome and understanding that, okay, Taylor, right? And understanding that and seeing it in yourself that, okay, this is something I have. I feel like a fraud. I feel like something's wrong with me. You are ready to take the next steps of that, which means everything around you needs to change, but it changes from your mind first, right, Princess? You are ready for the next step in personal growth, accepting yourself and releasing the past. Shira, releasing angry parents and releasing angry gods. I think those two are the same. Yes, Princess, you have been in isolation. So now the next step is solitude, which is different from isolation. When we are in isolation, right? Just like Sunshine said, power in the release, releasing the things that isolate you so that now you can be, yes, Taylor, the mindset, right? So now you are in solitude mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. When you're by yourself, you are not in isolation, you're in solitude, right? When you're with people, you might be with 1,000 people, but you can still be in solitude. And I don't feel lonely, although I am alone. So that's solitude, right? So now we change the narrative. What you just explained is how I feel, right? Majority of the time I am by myself, but I don't feel lonely. Somebody just asked me about that yesterday. A guy, because this is how guys want to lure you in, right? Yes. the isolation phase is not the easiest. No, the next step is solitude. Exactly, Fatumata. This is how most men want to lure you in. Oh, you are single. Isn't that lonely? What do you do when you have urges? So when people are asking you these things, they are trying to lure you in for you to start sharing everything. Just like R.C. Blake said yesterday, Taylor, and I don't know, Fatimata, if you were there, right? So most men will try to talk to you in a way that you just everything about yourself and about your life. I didn't know that. But when he said that yesterday in the chat, because he's an artist, right? And I'm using some of his songs. Yes, you were there. Beautiful. Right? When he said that, I said, I don't feel lonely. I feel good. Oh, I thought this was charging. Why is the battery low? Not sure what is happening. The devil is speaking. This was charging. Okay, let's move on. In the judgment card, an angel in the sky blows a trumpet while people emerge from caskets, rejoicing as they heed the call. And if you look at that in African spirituality, that could be the talking drums. Right? The talking drums calling because they carry a message and they're calling people in. Yes, I don't say everything when Shira says it. Yeah, Shira 7, that's another person to right to watch. I think during my journey into really understanding myself, I would binge watch Shira 7, Astro Goddess. Ratchet but cute. The artwork on this card references the biblical resurrection of Judgment Day. Now, I'm not from a Christian family. I have read the Bible, but there are things that I don't know. So I'm just going to read this part. And anybody who's here that understands it more than I do, please share. Overt Christian themes aside, what you see on this card is a depiction of answering the universe's signs that prompt a spiritual awakening. During the awakening process, you reflect on your life, choices and actions and experiences. As you judge yourself, Fatumata, remember to have compassion for who you once were and release those judgments so you are able to move on from the past. Princess, if I should be very honest with you, that is a difficult step to move on from, in my experience. Definitely for you, I know, because I really had imposter syndrome until very recently, probably 2 years ago, that I was able to move from it. So, especially as a woman, right? I cannot talk for men because I don't know, but especially as a woman, one of the hardest thing to do is to love yourself, right? Is getting to that point. I don't like how this looks. Excuse me. I like my look today. It makes me feel very feminine. Dark feminine energy. I love dark feminine energy. If you have gone through any, thank you. If you've gone through any kind of trauma in your life, physical abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, assault, domestic violence, right? Being in more than one marriage. How do they resonate in judgment? Who in terms of they? How do they resonate in judgment? It, yes, go a little bit more specific, Taylor. How do they resonate in judgment? If you are a woman and you've experienced anything that changed the trajectory of your life, or biblical wise, I'm not sure, because it is saying that the artwork on this card references the biblical resurrection of Judgment Day. So the biblical resurrection of Judgment Day. I see resurrection, and this connects to what I was saying, right? I see resurrection and being born again, just bonjour. I don't speak a lot of French, but I know bonjour is coming back to life. Yes, yes. I see resurrection as well as um, being born again as a way of coming back to life, right? Coming back to life, coming back to yourself, which is what I was saying, right? Which connects definitely to what Taylor's saying. It's so hard to love yourself back again as a woman if you've gone through anything that has hurt your heart or your soul, that makes you feel less than, that makes you feel that you're not worthy or you're not enough. Even though these are ideas that we have in our mind, it comes out into our reality. We manifest it into our life by the people we surround ourselves with, by the relationships we get into, by the environments we go into. So when you sit back, oh, when I did this, ladies and gentlemen, ooh, it was a painful one. When you sit back and look back in the past and look back into your life, and you look at the type of men you used to be with, if you were married, the type of husband you had, if you had friends, the type of friends you associated with, right? I talked about one of the people that I thought was my friend, and she really loved me and she was shutting down my dreams. I talked about this 2 days ago. Someone I absolutely love. And then I realized, oh my God, it's really not her, it's the way that I used to think that she feels comfortable to be in my life to tell me these things. You look back into the places you used to live. Hey, Nina, welcome, Nina. Our relationships mirror our internal self emotions, how we feel, which is why it says, as you judge yourself, remember to have compassion for who you once were and release those judgments so you are able to move on from the past. For me, it was seeing that I hated myself. I hated women. I hated people in general because every 2 years, I'm hating a different type of person. 1 year, I hate Black people. And the next year, 1 year, I hate African Americans. The next year, I hate Africans. The next year, I hate white people. The other year, I don't want to talk to the Latin community. Why? Because I completely despised who I was. So I needed to see that within myself and realize that all these times that I was going, just trying to be something, trying to do something, just looking, I was running away from myself. And the reason that I was running away from myself is that I've said this here over and over, right? I always thought that I was adopted because of the way I was raised, the trauma that I was raised in, the imposter syndrome you mentioned, right? The angry God, the angry parents, the particular mindset that I had that Taylor mentioned in the way that I saw the world, the way I saw myself, the way I saw men. Oh, that one was like icky when I realized that all these ideas came from the way I was raised. It came from my mother. I grew up in foster care. For me, it felt like even though I was at home with the woman that gave birth to me, my grandmother, my uncles, my father was traveling, and even with him, I felt like I was in foster care. And I was always looking forward to meet my real parents. Right? You know the song. Who's coming? The person coming to mind right now is Eric Thomas. Let the real Eric Thomas please stand up. And I'm always looking for my parents. When are they coming to pick me up? When are my parents coming to get me? And then I realized that one of the reasons that I hated myself and was running away from myself, right? Now I can say, oh, I'm so beautiful. Or people come on and say, your voice. These are all things I hated. People say, oh, smile again. I used to hide my smile because I hated how I was smiling. But I realized I look exactly like my mother. You see me, you see my mother. Photocopy. And because as a child, I have always thought that this woman cannot be my mother because of the way I was raised. But she is traumatized as well. And so one having to cut her off. Now, this is something people don't talk about in terms of releasing the past. But it is a very necessary topic because many a time the people that love us, we have to love them from a distance. Maria Masibo, our beautiful model. Empress, you are me. I swear we go through all the same things. Yes, Nina. Yes, I have a friend just like that. Yeah. Be gentle with yourself. Life is about the destination, not the journey. Exactly. Our life is about the journey, right? Not the destination. Hi, Mariama Sabo. Welcome, welcome. So, one of the topics that most times in most environments we don't touch on, which is why I always say my vision is to create a home for people who never felt at home. And never feeling at home sometimes it includes the type of trauma that we received from the people that gave birth to us. I personally, to heal, had to let go of my own mother. Things were very difficult. Even coming live, like I said, it took me years. These are not new to me. These are not new concepts to me. I did not just get up one day and say, whoa, I'm spiritual. No, it has always been with me, right? But when I joined Girl Hold My Hand and then I started doing the business with TLC, and my coach, Brittany Turner, said, with this business, you need to show yourself, you need to show your face. I reached out to my father and I said, well, this is what I'm doing now. And I'll be sharing my journey because I spoke to him about my trauma. And he said, sure, do it. That's a beautiful thing. And it felt like that was the validation that I needed, even though he is somebody I don't speak to a lot. But the few times that I've talked to him, it has always been wise. And it has always been words that I always carry with me. But my mother, I had to let go of. And looking back here, when it says, during the awakening process, you reflect on your life, choices, actions, and experiences. This is where you need to forgive yourself. This is where you need to have compassion for yourself. This is where you need to be gentle. Ramaskatu, Gambia. Ramaskatu. Who is this Ramaskatu? I like couture fashion. This is where, oh my God, what is the devil saying? They don't want me to tell you this. This is where loving yourself, you had to let go of yours too. Yes, she passed away without you having a relationship. I feel like that might happen to me, even though I don't want it to. Because I spoke to my mother, I sent her a voice message. I told her about these things and I wanted to talk to her about it. And her answer was that she wasn't interested. And so if I didn't let her go, I wouldn't be able to do this work. So when you look back and you see who your parents were, the things they did, their actions, their choices, their behaviors, and then you see that you copied the same thing, and your entire life, your choices and your action was based on the way that the people that gave birth to you raised you, or whatever you were raised. This is where you need to have compassion. Because I remember I always talk about the Zen center that I lived in. I have forgotten myself now. My mom was not in this space to love me correctly. Exactly. So understanding that is powerful. I always talk about the Zen center that I lived in, which is called the Zen Center of New York City. And one of the monks, well, he's the one of the top, the leaders. When I started explaining, the awakenings and the things that I was saying, he said, because that was the time, that was before he knew where I was from. He said, and I never forget this because at that time I didn't understand it. He said, I don't know where you're from. I don't know how you were raised. But when you begin to see things, it will take a lot of power on your end and forgiving yourself to continue. Because if not, you will destroy yourself. Because I had suicidal thoughts. Something is in my eye. A lot of things are fighting me today because I'm getting into this topic. From the phones dying, even though I charged it, to this thing in my eye now and I can't see it. I had suicidal thoughts from everything that everybody listed, from the idea of the angry God, from angry parents, right? From not loving myself, from thinking that something, and I thought about it this today too, right? That I always felt like something was wrong with me. Something had to be wrong with me for me to have my own mother not even love me. This is where the imposter syndrome comes in, princess, right? Because for me, I always thought something had to be wrong with me. Like, there's no way that nothing was wrong with me, and the people who gave birth to me treated me like this. It didn't make sense. And when I say that this spiritual path has always been in me, is because I can remember at 7, 8 years old having these spiritual thoughts of, they're telling me these things, but what I'm seeing and what they're telling me is very different. So I didn't have anybody listen to the things I wanted to say or the visions I was having as a child. This is where our parents manipulate us when you're from narcissistic families. And I always say, I'm not talking about narcissism as a trend. Let me hold the card. It's soothing. I don't talk about things as a trend. I'm not talking about trauma as a trend. I'm not talking about narcissism as a trend or healing as a trend or spiritual journey as a trend. Because if I do that, it will be a disservice because I don't follow trends myself, right? So when you're from these types of families, right, and as it is saying, judgment, when you're from these type of families and maybe you have had visions your entire life, you knew something was off, but then your parents gaslit you and keep telling you, why are you thinking like that? Nobody thinks like that. Nobody does that. You cannot be this person. You cannot do that. You cannot do this. So you start, or we start, to question ourselves, to not believe in ourselves, to think that we are weird. People say, I'm weird, I'm awkward. You think that something's wrong with you. You think that you're crazy. I'm 35 years old, right? I have had this feeling up until I was 30 because my mother is still alive. And I've always been in touch with her. She's the one person that I always speak with on the phone. So I felt crazy until 30, 32 because I couldn't talk to her about these things. And this is where the gaslighting and the manipulation from our family comes from. When you see this in your life about yourself, about your journey, you completely need to have compassion about yourself. Your parents, your environment, the people you were raised with, the things that you were told, like the monk told me, if not, you can destroy yourself. That's why when people go on the other side, like I have done, some people say, oh, you are spiritual, or you have spiritual gifts, or you have a talent, right? Like people always ask me. And I always say it's not a gift, it's not a talent. It's because I have gone through the pain of healing and getting on the other side where I can actually sit and speak to you without a script. I can read from books of wisdom and then break it down for you. So when people haven't gone that far yet, it's a wow factor for them. So the general reading, the process of release and judgment of yourself is important, whether or not a spiritual awakening is taking place. In order to move forward in life, you have to be willing to accept and release your past so you are able to enjoy the next phase of life. Whatever it may hold, judgment contains all the elements of the cycle of surrender, release, forgive, which taken together allows you to move on from the past and into your more vibrant future. And for women, the most powerful thing is going back to yourself, getting in touch with your own femininity. Call it soft life, call it dark femininity, call it feminine journey. It's all the same thing. Getting back to your heart, getting back to who you are, going back to the things that you used to love, right? Before maybe you needed to have a job or get a degree or be a servant to whoever, man, woman, be a people pleaser. Go back to the person that did not have imposter syndrome, because there was a time we didn't have imposter syndrome. We need to go back to that person, get in touch with that person, right? What are the clothes that you love to wear? I always loved the baggy. I was a tomboy as a child. What are the things that you used to love as a woman when you were a child? What are the things that you enjoy doing? What are the places that you like to go? What are the games that you like to play as a child? Going back to the feminine you, being in touch with your soul, right? Call it healing the inner child. Going back to that person. What scents did you like in terms of incense, in terms of perfume? How did you like your room to smell? How did you like your room to look like as a child? Right? What kind of lights did you like? What type of candles did you want to do? I always say that we have been told or made to believe that, oh, you light candles. In African communities that light candles, it is seen as poverty. But when we want to be romantic, what do? We light candles, these illusions that we've been given. So, are African countries really poor? But when we want to enjoy ourselves, what do? We tap into those things that are considered poor. When we want to heal ourselves, what do? We tap into those things that are considered poor, like lighting candles, going back to nature, walking bare feet, right? Sitting by the trees, eating healthy food. I didn't know what organic food was. I used to run away from buying organic food because I'm like, what is making this organic? And why are they different? These are all illusions that we have, that we have been taught, that we believe in. And we don't even know that we believe in these things, right? If you want to heal, you have to get back to the herbs, drinking herbs, cooking with herbs, using herbs as tea. Hello, Rising Phoenix. These are the things that are being done in the African continent, but they are considered poor, right? If you started doing that, people think that, oh, something's wrong with you. But is that so? Love romance. Accept your mistakes as well as those of your partners. So you can successfully let the past go. Past loves may be returning for possible reconciliation, allowing you to make peace with the past and find closure. Seek forgiveness in order to move forward. I mentioned here how somebody I had a crush on for a long time was texting me. That will happen. They will come back. People that you liked, people that liked you. Recently in my life, coming back on social media, I have been having a lot of that. I spoke about how just recently I spoke to my ex husband. All these things are going to come up again for you. How you handle those situations will show, yeah, if I was to live in Gambia, I would not buy tea bag. No, we have mborbor, we have kinkeliba, all these herbs, right, that we can use, right? So through this journey, as you are healing, let me tell you something that I didn't know, that I had to learn the hard way, especially this part when it comes to love and romance, right? We might not even need these other two cards in terms of what to retain, because I'm sure that everything we're talking about now will be what the cards will say. right? So we can just stick to judgment for today. Love and romance. Accept your mistakes as well as those of your partners so you can successfully let the past go. Past loves may be returning for possible reconciliation, allowing you to make peace with the past and find closure. Seek forgiveness in order to move forward. Seeking that forgiveness is forgiving yourself. Seeking that forgiveness is healing those relationships. Being able to talk to these past partners and say, this is who I used to be. So when you thought I was this person, this is what was going on with me. The one person that I have dated for the longest, and him too, people, I had to cut off my mother. Him too, that relationship was destroyed by my mother. And when that relationship broke down, that was the beginning of my life just spiraling all the way down. And I had to explain that to him because he only knew that my mother didn't like him. And that broke his heart because he loved my family. He wanted to spend more time with my family than his own family. So just him knowing that my mother didn't like him, I know that hurt him really, really bad. I'm telling you, this was when I was what, 18 or 16, and I'm still in touch with most of them. But the mistake that I have made, and I don't, if anybody have experienced these things, please share with me and let me know, right? Let's talk about it. The mistake that I made before I understood that the reason these people are coming back was to forgive the past and heal the past. Some of them will come back as a way of getting me back. And then I would entertain those conversations because I was still looking for that love and I was still looking for that validation. Majority of them, right? The ones that I spoke of, each and every one of them. I have said here, people said that. I don't know if this ever happened to you, especially Princess and Shira. Yeah, you that talked about angry parents, angry God, and imposter syndrome, where a lot of people think that you have resting bitch face, where people think that you are a heartbreaker, right? Where people think that you are cold hearted, or that you just you want to be a gold digger and take men's money, but you don't really love, right? You cannot love. Shira, I was that person. And so now that I understand when these men, and because I was always considered that person, men just flock to me because they think that I'm trying to play them and they want to win me, being the difficult person. And I'm like, now that I understand it, I'm like, no, I was just hurt. I was just in so much pain. I'm not trying to be hard to get or a heartbreaker. I didn't even know that I had resting bitch face. I will walk out in the street and people, especially men, will say, smile. And I'm like, what am I going to smile about? So the mistake was when they came back into my life, because they will always come back because those relationships need to heal. Instead of me being able, and most of those times I would not heal, this is the universe testing you. In our school, in the real world, they say that whatever happens to you, it will come back. And when it comes back, it's the universe testing you to see if you are still stupid. And at that point, I was, because I would entertain all the toxic behaviors, conversations, ideas, ways of being. But now I am able to say, this is why I acted that way. When I came back on social media, especially posting on Instagram, half of them are messaging me because I've always been that one person in their life that maybe showed them love that more than anybody else, or they just cannot forget me. And I always tell people I am unforgettable, and they would come back. So now I can heal it, and this will happen. Shira, this is going to happen, right? Because a lot of them will say, oh, I was afraid of you, if they think you had rested bitch face or you are a heartbreaker. Yes, sometimes they come to distract you. Yes, Fatimata. Yes, with healing, you know exactly what's best for you. Exactly. And the reason they are coming to distract us is the universe sending them to see if we are still stupid. Are we still the same person that would entertain all these toxic behaviors and toxic ways of being and toxic ideas, these destructive habits? It's a test, right? But then when you pass the test, even you will feel it. Even you will feel it. Because when they always come back to you, sometimes it's because nothing in their life worked, or maybe whatever kind of relationship they had with you, they've been out there looking for that same relationship. With majority of them told me, and I can tell you most of them are married. I hope they don't see this. Most of them are married. And so there's a saying that when you go through trauma, you know how to love, because you've never received love. So you know how to give love, and you know the love that you want. So anybody who comes close to you, right, they can never forget you because you exude love, even in your traumatized state. And with friendships too, especially with friendships, with family and everybody. Recently, I had to go, or a year ago was it, last year maybe, I had to go to Nashville to a family member and heal that relationship and let her know, this is the person I was, this is what was going on, because my mother this, my mother that. And funnily, she said, I know your mother called me, because she always knows that when she can't get you, you're probably here in Nashville. But I didn't pick up the call. And I was like, oh, thank you so much for not picking up the call. And then when I was there, she received another call and a voice message from my mother. And when I went the second time to visit her, she said, oh, your mother called me the other day. I was like, oh my God. Right? So it's all around. It's friendships, it's romantic relationships, it's family relationships that need to heal, right? Ni hawk, G. I'm gonna call you G. G. That's how we call each other in my content creation school. G. G as in God, goddess, gangster. We live in a gangster's paradise. So career and money. Don't allow past mistakes or decisions in the realms of finance and career to define you. I am there now. Whatever happened to you is happening to you now. If you really dig deep into your experience, you'll be able to see that it happened before. Anybody having that experience? Whatever situation you are in now, you can look back in your life and realize it happened before, where you can say, my God, this is happening again. That's what a lot of spiritual people will say. I have been here before. I have been here before, which means it happened before. Maybe it would be in your job, maybe in whatever business you're doing, maybe a transition, leaving your job to a different job, leaving your job to your own business, starting a new business, not, is it revitalizing? I don't know why that word is coming to my mind. Revitalizing your own business. You can see it, that wherever you are, you have been here before. This has happened before. So don't allow past mistakes or decisions in the realms of finance and career to define you. Instead, focus on releasing the past and moving into a new, more successful period. This is where I am at personally. Heed signs from the universe and follow them toward a new career path or opportunity in business. And I've shared this here before, which I heard from Agape with Michael Beckwith, where they were praying, and one of them was saying, speak to me in ways that I can understand, in terms of getting the signs you need to move on. Many a time we get the signs, but we have no idea what is happening. We don't even understand what it is showing us. And in terms of signs, I'm not just talking about seeing 1111, 2222, wherever you're going. No, that could be it, right? But it could also be different signs. It could be words from a stranger. It could be words from your family. It could be somebody calling you from out of the blue. If you have children, it could be your children just deciding to listen to a particular song, deciding to play some kind of children's stuff, and then you hear certain things that make you torn. These are all signs, right? When you learn about birds, and so there's a spiritual. Ah, TikTok just went off. There's there's a spiritual sign for everything. There's a spiritual sign for the birds, for butterflies, right? There's a spiritual sign for the wind. Maybe you're thinking of something or you're wanting something, and all of a sudden it's windy. I have done that, where before I understood Oya, goddess of the storm, even the rain dance, where I will continuously play Oya, and then all of a sudden it will start raining. And I'm like, but I'm playing this right now and it's raining. I believe nothing is a coincidence. Everybody and what they believe, right? The personal and the spiritual. Put your energy toward noticing the signs, exactly, from the universe, so you can begin releasing yourself from self criticism and judgment. This is the time to start accepting your spiritual gifts. Moving on from past pain and embracing a new period of spiritual awakening. So, Fatimata, you've mentioned a lot about this, right? You mentioned, what was it you mentioned again about judgment? And here it says, when it comes to the judgment card, put your energy toward noticing the signs from the universe so you can begin releasing yourself from self criticism and judgment. This is the time to start accepting your spiritual gifts, moving on from past pain, and embracing a new period of spiritual awakening, right? From the things that you mentioned, in terms of, oh, not loving yourself, not having compassion for yourself, now is the right time to release all of that, to let all of that go. Because the moment you are able to let all of that go, love yourself more, play the types of music that makes you feel good, right? What you would create, the environment you would create for maybe your family to feel good, right? To make a romantic environment, or to create a romantic dinner. Yeah, I had to heal from that. Beautiful, right? So what you would create for other people, to create it for yourself. Make a romantic dinner for yourself. Create a healing environment for yourself. Because when you do it for yourself, it will benefit everybody else. But then when you just do it for other people, that's when you get drained. Playing the types of music that makes you feel good. That helps you in loving yourself more, in having more compassion for ourselves. I know I had to do that. Playing India Ari, wearing the big dresses and the huge skirts that I always loved, right? Liking this type of hair more than even wearing straight wig. This is my style, which is why I said I know that this life today is going to be calm, because this is my style, right? But I had to go back to it. I had to see that this is me. Yes, do that often. Buy flowers for yourself, grow flowers at home for yourself, from if you have window sills, is it sills or still, balcony, veranda, whatever it is, wherever you can put a plant, garden around your house, things that make you feel good, for you to tap back into yourself and into your feminine power, right? TikTok is coming back on, but I don't know why the battery died. Now I get flowers without even asking. Self love is everything. Yeah, you have to do it for yourself. Now, I didn't know this. I didn't know this as well. And I used to stop, believe it or not, I used to stop people. Let me go live here again. Hopefully, it doesn't go off. Tell them to join me here. I used to stop people, men and other people, from buying me flowers, right? And I had to heal from that. And the reason that I had to heal from that is because, yeah, let's go back to my mother, right? Whatever she does for me, whatever she does for me, I had to always explain. I'm using too much memory here on my iPad. Hi, TikTok, give me 1 second. Oh, only Facebook, YouTube is on. Hi, it turned off. It turned off. Saying the system crash. I closed everything. For the people that were here on TikTok, please come to my, yeah, yes, Nina. Come to my Instagram. You can find me on Instagram, Empress Fire. Click the link in my bio and come to Instagram, because my iPad is being funny. I don't know what is happening. It's telling me that it's going to crash. And I don't have any apps open. So I don't know what exactly is happening. Let's see. Maybe I delete some apps. Sorry, my people. Give me a second. Social media is a pain in the butt. Okay, I deleted some apps. I hope it works. When people around you see how you carry and love yourself, they do the same things you do for yourself without asking. Yeah, that is what Lisa Nicole calls that. Lisa Nichols always say, I'll probably share that in the group. Lisa Nichols always say that you have to teach the world how to love you. You have to teach people how to love you. Uh, TikTok, thank you. I see the heart. Sorry, it's going off. But like I said, come to my Instagram, right? I'll figure this out after this live. Even though I charged it, I don't know what happened. It just went off. It turned off again. I'm going to leave it off. Yeah, so Lisa Nichols said you need to teach the world how to love you. But the only way you can teach the world how to love you is what? If you know how to love your own self. So the reverse judgment card in your reading can suggest repeating patterns without learning the important lessons. Perhaps you have been judging yourself harshly or clinging to the past, and either of those behaviors will keep you from moving on. This card is in reversal, can also signify that you are ignoring a higher calling. So do not be afraid to embrace growth and change. So we said it. I mean, two other cards came out, but like I said, I think the judgment card is enough, isn't it? I don't think we need any more, right? Because judgment is heavy. But I can just when we have I can do 2 hours as always. We always stay here forever. We might as well do it. Let me put this here. Oh, I can just close it. What's going on? Ah, this is my belief stone. It says believe. Let me see these other ones. This is the sword. Is it 9 of sword? 2, 4, 6, or 7 of sword? And then the other one is the two of cups. All right, let's go with swords first. Cups. All right, let's start with 122. Let me check this out. Oh, no. Yeah, that's the two of cups. Sorry, I'm doing something very weird. So the cups here. The cups is a major arcana. Page 99. Two of cups. The meeting of two brings balance and harmony in and nurturing relationship. Basically, what we were saying, right? This card indicates that you are ready to take an exciting connection to a deeper level. The Two of Cups depicts two figures closely resembling the High Priestess and the Fool, gazing into one another's eyes as they exchange cups. Between them, a winged lion sits atop a uh, caduceus or sido. I don't know how to pronounce that. Caduceus. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? Caduceus. The lion symbolizing passion and protection from above. The caduceus or cedars, I don't know, evoking balance in communication. The gallants on the heads of each figure represent mutual victory in this harmonious partnership. The house in the background references a peaceful domestic life. Caduceus. I have never heard that word. So it's C as in cat, Caduceus, meaning. Oh, the thing that's in the hospital sign. This sometimes you see it as a logo in hospitals. You see it right there, right? And it means what? It's the traditional symbol of hams and features two snakes winding around and often winged staff. It is often used as a symbol of medicine, especially in the United States. Despite its ancient and consistent associations with trade, liars, thieves, eloquence, negotiation, alchemy, and wisdom. Harmony and balance, right? Yeah. So yeah, we talked about this in terms of relationships. I think it's exactly what we were saying when um when Fatima mentioned show when you love yourself, then everybody around you automatically just does the same thing for you because they're mirroring you. Because everybody mirrors us. And when you don't love yourself, then what happens? The same thing. The same thing, right? So, so I believe we talked about that. Let me check the last card. And this one, these two last cards, the Two of Cups and the Sword. I think this is the Seven of Sword. What that is that they are the things that we need to retain. So the Judgment is what we need to rebirth, rejuvenation, healing. Exactly. Exactement. Swords. I think this is the Seven of Swords. 162. This one doesn't have any labels, and I need to, I haven't memorized the cards. Yep, this is the Seven of Swords. Yes, I have memorized the cards. This particular book is hard to read, so I like to read it from here. So the Swords is a what? The Swords is a minor arcana, and the cups are also minor arcanas. Judgment, I think is a major arcana. Okay, let's go to 159. Minor arcana. So this is a Seven of Swords. 5, 6, 7. Listen to your intuition to help you see what is being taken away from you or hidden from you right under your nose. You've just met the notorious thief of the tarot, the Seven of Swords card. A smirking man is in the process of sneaking off while carrying 5 swords. He appears to tiptoe away from a tent, yet he leaves 2 swords behind. The yellow background suggests he does this in broad daylight without attempting to hide what he is doing. Since yellow represents conscious awareness, like all swords, this one represents ideas, thoughts, and forms of communication, right? I mentioned here about the test that the universe gives us in terms of the relationships that we have had, relationships of any kind, romantic, platonic, friendships, family, all of it, right? People always come back. But the test is, like I said, and like they told us in our campus, the universe bring things back to check and see if you are still stupid. I know I have been stupid for years, but I'm getting out of that, or I am already out of that. Like all swords, this one represents ideas, thoughts, and forms of communication. So the theft taking place does not necessarily represent a physical object being taken by you or from you, which means people will come back into our life. Like the Judgment card said, accept your mistakes as well as those of your partners so you can successfully let the past go. Past loves may be returning for possible reconciliation, allowing you to make peace with the past and find closure. Seek forgiveness in order to move forward. I think we have all of that today, right? Which means, basically the release is always the ideas, the concepts, the perceptions, the ways of being, the way that we were raised, the things that we were told, the ideas that we have of ourselves, right? And I mentioned here how most of the time, or all of the time, there's, okay, in my experience, right? Let me say it this way, because for some people it might be different. In my experience, whatever you're going through, whoa, I tried to release last night, right? So the release doesn't happen one time. You are very welcome. It's a process, right? So focusing on now. So, like I was saying, in my experience, whatever we are going through, we went through it before. Which is why Coach Stormy always say things happen 2 times or 3 times in your life. Whatever we are going through, and I feel grateful that I am mirroring love to myself. Exactly. The love you give to yourself is the love that you get. Like Lisa Nicole says, you have to teach the world how to love you. Whatever pain, whatever hurt, whatever you're going through now, you went through it before. Yes, I had to do that, forgive myself and forgive others. But it is not everyone I had to give access to me, even though I forgive them. Okay, exactly. For me, it's starting from my own parents, right? So for me, it rings a deeper bell, a whole lot more painful. The relationships is not just romantic relationships, it's the people that gave birth to me. Understanding that I have to forgive them. They did the best that they could for me, right? I have turned out to be the woman that they wanted me to be. But now the thing is, can they handle it? This is who they wanted me to be. But is it too much for them? It probably is. They wanted me to learn, to be intelligent. They wanted me to go to school, this, and that, blah, blah, the perceptions, the ideas, and all of those things. And as I did that along the way, I think mostly because I have never really believed in those things, I have had to break the illusion as the person who is breaking the generational curses. So now going back to tell them, hey, you told me this, you told me this, you told me this. This is what I found out. And I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that. It's a matter of, it's too much, right? And I myself had to realize that I am too much. I am too much. I can tell you, most of my life, people always say, your energy, your energy, your energy. And I always say, the circle of life, right? Don Miguel, oh, the circle of our neighborhood is lit. It's always lit out here. I love Brooklyn. Brooklyn is everything. The circle. Okay, I'll look for the audio book and read it. Listen to it. I haven't read it yet. I'm still packing out, so I don't want to buy any more books because I give away a whole shelf, and I have another shelf to give away too. Anyway, yeah, sure you can. Yeah, I will. What I will do is I will post a picture of the book, right? And then it's the circle of life by no Elton John. I'm not talking about you. Don Miguel. I always mistake Don Miguel with Paulo. Okay. So I'll take a description from the book and I will also add the picture of the book and put it in the Telegram channel, and then you can put the snapshots. The circle of life. The circle of life. Nina, you should join us in the group. Join us in the Telegram group. Be there with us. You can find the link in my bio right there on Instagram. It will be great to have you, right? It's free, but if you want to send me money, I will take it. Circle of life, yeah. I will post it there. Yes, you can download it. You might find the audiobook on YouTube, right? But she is going to share the pages in the group. So that would be something we can start talking about and reading now. And then when we go live, we can talk about it. But it will be nice to have you in the group, right? Especially you seem like a woman with a lot of money, Nina. I want some of your money. I'm kidding. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye. Hello, Coach Stormy. Always a pleasure to have you pop in the live. Thank you, thank you. Nice to see you. Nice to have you. Yes, we're rich. I love that. You see, yes, Nina, I love that you said yes. I love that you are a millionaire. I absolutely love your response. Because for me, generally, when I look at people, that's the only thing I tell them. Because that's always what I see in people. I always tell people, you have a lot of money. You are a millionaire. But depending on their response, that tell me their mindset. The moment somebody says, oh, no, 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 I don't have any money, I am poor, I don't, and I'm just like, just take it in. I'm not saying that because I want to take your money. It's a pleasure too, right? When somebody say that, take it in, right? That's the power of the healing journey. Whatever compliment we get, we bask in it. People say you're beautiful, you say thank you, and you smile. Where are you from? This, and that. I still have people talk about, oh, your skin. Can I touch your skin? People say that's discrimination or part of racism, and I believed it for some time, but now I'm going back to not believing it, or I already went back to not believing it. Because I've always loved when people say, can I touch your skin? I go, yeah, it's beautiful, it's smooth. Touch it. I've always liked that, right? So it has always been, it is a compliment. I love it. It's a compliment. Because for I know for myself, when I'm curious about somebody, it's a compliment. When I'm curious, oh, where did you get that? Where did you buy that? How did you do that? Oh my God, how did you know that? How did you learn that? Even the hair issue, even the hair issue, right? I love when people say, look at your hair. Is that your hair? Is that a wig? How did you put it on? But I am weird, right? I know I'm weird, I'm different. How did you put it on? Can I see? Can I see? And I'm like, I love it. You like it? Oh, now it's stopped. It's beautiful, right? And you go, yeah. Oh wow. Oh my God. And I'm just there like, anyway, bye bye. I am interested. Thank you. I like that, right? I like being interested and unpredictable, and just people don't know where I'm coming from, what I'm doing, who I am, right? Love it when people say, where are you from? I say, guess, and they just can't guess because, they think I'm from Kenya and I'm from Sudan. They think I'm from Ethiopia. And then people say, oh, I did in Gambia and Senegal and all these things. And how did you look like that? How did your body be like that? What do you eat? What do you that? And I'm like, ask me more. Ask me more. Yes, ask me more. All right. Hi, Kante. Have a blissful day, you too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being with me. Bye bye, YouTube. Bye bye, Facebook. It's always so good to see when Coach Stormy pops in the girl hold my hand chat, right? Bye.